What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Hoops and Holds podcast. Doing another wrestling video today. This time we're doing the WrestleMania booking for this year, WrestleMania 37, which I believe is going to be another two-night event. And I wanted to get this video out before the Royal Rumble. So, yeah, this is how I'd book it. And it'd also be how I would book the Royal Rumble as well, since it didn't happen yet. It's still possible, right? But this is wishful thinking with WWE. You know how it is. So, yeah, I believe they're doing two nights again. I would have 16 matches, 8 per night. And I'm going to try to divide it 8 Raw matches, 8 SmackDown matches. And I'll start off with the Raw matches. I'd have Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus. They've already been building this matchup. It's been solid. Um, you see Sheamus still having heel tendencies. He's attacking Keith Lee. So you could see that Sheamus' turn coming. You know, he could be jealous of Drew McIntyre. They've been booking it for a while. I know Sheamus is not the biggest name like Brock Lesnar, but he's still a pretty good draw, and I think it'll be a physical, solid match, and I think it'll give Drew McIntyre a good way to win and retain, and it won't really hurt Sheamus. Sheamus is already established, and Drew McIntyre is on his greatest run, so I'll definitely have him keep the belt. Next match, Edge versus Randy Orton. I'd have Edge cost Randy a match against Bray, whether it's at the Royal Rumble or the February pay-per-view, whatever it is. And then, yeah, they'll just rekindle their feud. Edge could say, hey, you beat me, I beat you, it's 1-1. Let's settle the score, and I believe I'd give Edge the win just to fully end this rivalry. It's one of the best rivalries last year. I think it does need a good ending and a happy ending. So, yeah. And it also would tie into Randy Orton attacking all these legends. And the legend of Edge is back. And he says, hey, I'm stepping up for these legends, especially like for Christian. Randy Orton did punt Christian. So that could be a part of the storyline where Christian comes and helps Edge as well. Third match would be Bray Wyatt versus AJ Styles. I had a hard time finding a match for Bray Wyatt. Unless he continues to feud with Randy, like it's really hard for his character to have like a good feud because they need specific kind of characters, right? So, but I think this would be a good one where AJ Styles he gets cocky. He says he's the man on Raw, and then just have Bray Wyatt playing mind games with him and his security guard. Was it Omus? Omus? I forgot. I don't even know his name. But yeah. So I think that'd be a solid match. And Bray Wyatt could also bring up how he beat AJ Styles at Elimination Chamber 2017, and that AJ Styles has to face his demons, and I think it'll be a good match, especially if AJ plays like that chicken shit heel, even though he's not scared, but it's Bray Wyatt, so like whoever fights Bray Wyatt, there's still some fear. So I think it would be a good match, solid match on the undercard. Next match would be for the Raw Women's Championship: Asuka versus Charlotte versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax. Again, they seem like they're going for the partner versus partner match, Asuka versus Charlotte. But we've seen that already, so you might as well add Shayna Baszler, and I guess you might as well add Nia Jax. There's some history there with Nia Jax injuring Charlotte. I think it'll be a good match, and I'd have Shayna Baszler win. Honestly, I feel like they need to reheat her, and hopefully, after WrestleMania, she could be a main focus. U.S. Championship: Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee. I think this would be a great physical match. Have Keith Lee be recruited into the Hurt Business, but Keith Lee doesn't roll like that. He's a solo guy, and then he tries to take out the Hurt Business. He he beats MVP, Shelton, Cedric until he gets to Lashley. It's kind of like the final boss thing. So I think it'll be a good match. I'd have Keith Lee win. You gotta put over these young stars. Lashley's been a great champion, but it's Keith Lee's time. And then for the tag team championship, I still have the Hurt Business. This time against Retribution, I have Ricochet basically join Retribution, and maybe they can turn face Retribution because they got Ali and Ricochet, and those two had problems with the Hurt Business in the past. So Ricochet turns his back on Hurt Business. I know we kind of seen that with Ali, like turning, but I think it'll make sense. I guess both of these guys on the card, and I think Retribution should win. Not a big fan of the faction, but if you have a faction, you might as well make them dominant. So I'd have Retribution win. I don't really know who's the face or heel. Maybe it might be a heel match, but it should be interesting. I think it'll be a fun match. You got four athletic guys in that ring. Next match would be John Morrison versus The Miz for the Money in the Bank contract. I couldn't find really a match for these two, and I think they both should be on the card, especially the Money in the Bank holder. I think it'll be a good storyline where John Morrison could say, "Hey, I'm the reason why you still have that contract because I'm the one who cashed in for you." And then I think you know they should have a match for the contract. Maybe turn Morrison face. I always wanted to see this match 10 years earlier, actually at WrestleMania 27 for the WWE Championship. I think it'd be a fun match. Maybe have Morrison win. I really don't want Miz to cash in and win. I think Morrison would be a pretty cool retribution storyline or redemption storyline. I think he definitely deserves it. Last match would be Jeff Hardy versus Matt Riddle, the Hardy Bros as they're called. I just have them lose the tag team match, and I'd have Matt Riddle turn on Jeff. I think Matt Riddle could be a really cocky, arrogant heel. His main roster run hasn't been uh too much good. I mean, it's been okay, but definitely expected more. So I think it'll be a fun match. Again, give Matt Riddle the win. He's a young guy, and yeah. So those are the 8 Raw matches. Now the 8 SmackDown matches, I'd have Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Universal Championship. Again, this is the match that's been building for a while. Talk about Roman saying people don't like me because of you. I was dominating, winning matches, but you were getting eliminated in the Royal Rumble. You were losing to Bray Wyatt. So why are they cheering you over me? I broke the Royal Rumble elimination record. I think it'll be a great storyline where like they can mix in reality and also they could talk about last year they teamed up and they thought Daniel Bryan attacked Roman, but it wasn't. So they could go that angle as well. Bring that back up. I think it'll be a good match. Not don't really need anything too big in the build, two solidified names. So I think it'll be a fun match. Probably have this close to show to be honest. I'd have Daniel Bryan win. I feel like he deserves it, but Roman Reigns been amazing as a heel. Maybe keep Roman retain. But yeah, that's a toss up. I'm not too sure, but I think it'll be a great main event. They had a match at Fastlane 2015 and it was really good, so this could definitely be better. Then I have Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair, who I'd have win the women's battle Royal Rumble. Sorry, and yeah, I think it'd be a good match. Kind of like a dream match. The bots versus the EST. Speaks for itself. Two very confident wrestlers. They love to talk trash. They love the glory. So I think it'll be very fun. Again, I have Bianca Belair win. Got to put over these young stars. IC Championship, I have Big E versus the returning Seth Rollins. I think it'll be a good, solid match. I'm not too sure how I'd book this, but I'd have Big E retain. I mean, Big E's on a roll, I think, this year. If he holds the IC belt for a majority of the year, I think next year he could be a good challenger for Roman Reigns if he's still the champion by then. Then I'd have Shinsuke Nakamura versus Cesaro. I think we've all seen this kind of been building. Cesaro, he didn't really help Shinsuke when he got attacked by Roman, I believe, and Jey Uso. So and Shinsuke, he looks like he's turning face. So I think this is pretty easy, from a tag team partners. Cesaro gets jealous of Nakamura's recent success. They have an amazing match. You know, this will definitely be a show stealer. Nakamura versus Cesaro. Gonna be some hard kicks, hard uppercuts. Definitely gonna be good. Then I have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. I have Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. They're currently the champions, and I don't like taking the belts off champions right before Mania, so I just have them keep it. And I think it'll be a good story when they drop it to Rey Mysterio and Dominic. I think just that storyline of Rey Mysterio and Dominic trying to win the tag team championship. That's been a dream of Dominic since he was young, and Rey Mysterio as well. I think that'd be a fun, good story match. And Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, they're like transitional champions to me. So I don't really see them having a long reign. Doesn't hurt them at all, and it'd be a good way and good moment for the Mysterio family. Then I have Street Profits versus the Usos, undercard tag team match. I think this would be good. I was thinking if this should be for the tag belts, but since the Street Profits lost the belt, I don't see any reason for them to win it back. And I think it'd be just like a lot of trash talk. The Usos, when they were at heel in 2017, they had amazing promos. So I think this would be very fun. I'd have the Street Profits win, of course. Got to put the young people. Last match is Otis versus Chad Gable. We know Chad Gable's been training Otis. And I'd say have Otis challenge Chad Gable. Face versus face. He'd be like, hey, all your training, I want to see if I'm ready. I want to see if this training's worked. And I have Otis win, and it would slowly turn Chad Gable heel. So yeah, those are my 16 matches. Let me run it down for you again. Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus for the WWE Championship. Edge versus Randy Orton. Bray Wyatt versus AJ Styles. Raw Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way. Asuka versus Charlotte versus Shayna Baszler versus Nia Jax. US Championship. Bobby Lashley versus Keith Lee. Raw Tag Team Championship. The Hurt Business versus Retribution. John Morrison versus The Miz for the Money in the Bank contract. And Jeff Hardy versus Matt Riddle. And then on SmackDown, the WWE Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan. Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair. Big E versus Seth Rollins for the IC Championship. Kevin Owens. Oh, yeah, I forgot one more match on SmackDown. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. Pretty much writes, writes for itself. I mean, these two always been a rival, but now different roles. Kevin Owens is the face. Sami Zayn is the heel. Kevin Owens could be like, "Hey, Sami, man, what happened to you? You changed. Used to walk the walk. Now you talk the talk too much." So I think it'll be a good feud to bring back their rivalry, and I think it's only fitting for both of them to fight at WrestleMania. So yeah, and then Shinsuke versus Cesaro, SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Rey Mysterio and Dominic. Street Profits versus the Usos, and Otis versus Chad Gable. So that is my card. I left off a few people, but honestly, it doesn't really not losing sleep over Baron Corbin not being on the card or the New Day. These guys, they can miss WrestleMania. It's cool. So that's how I book it. Let me know what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe for more wrestling videos. Appreciate y'all, and peace out.